Chapter 13 of the Shore Road Mystery. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. In the Locker. The massive roadster rolled smoothly out of the garage that evening, and the Hardy Boys drove down High Street, greatly enjoying the attention their new car attracted. Freshly painted, the automobile had not the slightest evidence of being a second-hand car. It was long and low-slung, with a high hood, and there was a big locker at the back. The upholstery was in good condition, and the fittings were ornate and handsome. All in all, it was a car to arouse the envy of all their chums, and one that would arouse the covetousness of any auto thief. This was precisely what the Hardy Boys were counting on. They drove about the streets until it was almost dark. They met Biff Hooper and Tony Preto, who exclaimed over the luxurious appearance of the roadster and immediately wanted a ride, but the boys were obliged to refuse. "Sorry," said Frank. "We'll take you out any other time, but tonight we have business in hand." "I'd like to know what it's all about," remarked Biff. "You two have been mighty mysterious about something lately." "Sometime you'll understand," sang out Joe as they drove off. They headed out the shore road. It was getting dark, and the headlights cut a brilliant slash through the gloom. Leaving Bayport behind, the boys drove about 2 miles out until they came to a place where a grassy meadow beside the road provided a favorite parking place for motorists who wished to descend the path leading down through the woods to the beach below. "This is about as good a place as any," said Frank. "Suits me." He drove the car off the road onto the grass. It came to a stop. "Anyone around, Joe?" Joe looked back. "No other cars in sight," he reported a moment later. "Then make it snappy." Anyone observing the roadster at that moment would have seen the two boys clamber out, but in the gloom they would not have seen what followed, for the boys suddenly disappeared. The roadster remained where it was, parked by the road, in solitary magnificence. A few minutes later, an automobile passed by. It belonged to a Bayport merchant out for an evening drive. He saw the splendid car by the roadside and said to his wife, "Somebody is taking an awful chance. I wouldn't leave a fine-looking automobile like that out here without someone to watch it. I guess the owner is down on the beach. If one of those auto thieves happens along, there'll be another good car listed among the missing." "Well, it's their own lookout," returned his wife. They drove past, but the roadster was not deserted as it seemed. So quickly had the Hardy Boys concealed themselves that, even had anyone been watching, it would have been difficult to follow their movements. The roadster, having been built for show, had a large and roomy locker at the back. By experimenting in the privacy of the garage and by clearing this locker of all odds and ends, the boys found it was just large enough to accommodate them both. Here they were hidden. They were not uncomfortable, and the darkness did not bother them, for each was equipped with a small flashlight. "You didn't forget your revolver, did you?" whispered Frank. "No, I have it here," answered his brother. "Have you got yours?" "Ready in case I need it." Although there would seem to be no purpose in spending an evening crouched in the locker of a parked roadster, the Hardy Boys had laid definite plans. From the morning they had bought the car, they had perfected the various details of their scheme to capture the auto thieves on the shore road. "Most of the cars have been stolen while they were parked on the shore road," Frank had argued. "It stands to reason that the auto thieves are operating along there. Since the first few scares, not many people have been parking their cars along there, so the thieves have taken to stealing cars in town and to holdups. If we park the roadster, it's 10 chances to 1 the thieves won't be able to resist the temptation." "And we lose a perfectly good car," objected Joe. "We won't lose it because we'll be right in it all the time. The thieves won't be likely to steal it if we're in it. They won't see us. We'll be hiding in the locker." Joe saw the merits of the plan at once. "And they'll kidnap us without knowing it?" he chuckled. "That's the idea. They'll drive the car to wherever they are in the habit of hiding stolen autos, and then we can watch our chance to either round them up then and there or else steal away and come back with the police." This, then, was the explanation of their mysterious behavior, and as they crouched in the locker, they were agog with expectation. "We'll just have to be patient," whispered Frank, when they had been in hiding for more than half an hour. "We can't expect the fish to bite the minute we put out the bait." Joe settled himself into a more comfortable position. "This is the queerest fishing I've ever done," he mused. It was very quiet. They had no difficulty in breathing, as the locker had a number of air spaces that they had bored in the top and sides, invisible to a casual glance. Once in a while they could hear a car speeding past on the shore road. Minute after minute went by. They were becoming cramped. Presently Joe yawned loud and long. "I guess it's no use," said Frank at last. "We're out of luck tonight." "Can't expect to be lucky the first time," replied his brother philosophically. "We might as well go home." Frank raised the lid of the locker and peeped out. It was quite dark. The shore road was deserted. "Coast is clear," he said. They got quickly out of the locker. They lost no time, for there was a possibility that one of the auto thieves might be in the neighborhood, watching the roadster, and if their trap was discovered, it would be useless to make a second attempt. They got back into the car, Joe taking the wheel this time. He drove the roadster back onto the highway, turned it around, and they set out back for Bayport. Both the lads were disappointed, although they had not yet given up hope. They had been so confident that their plan would be successful that this failure took some of the wind out of their sails, so to speak. "We'll just try again tomorrow night," said Frank. "Perhaps the auto thieves have quit." "Not them. They'll fall for our trap yet. I'm glad we didn't tell any of the fellows. We'll look mighty foolish if it doesn't work." The car sped along the shore road, the headlights casting a brilliant beam of illumination. As they rounded a curve, they caught a glimpse of a dark figure trudging along in the shadow of the trees bordering the ditch. "Wonder who that is," Frank remarked, peering at the man. Joe bore down on the wheel, swinging the car around so that the headlights fell full on the man beside the road. Then he swung the car back into its course again. The fellow had flung up his arm to shield his face from the glare, but he had not been quick enough to hide his features altogether. Frank had recognized him at once. "So," he remarked thoughtfully, "our friend again." "I didn't get a good look at him," Joe said. "Somehow he seemed familiar." "He was. I'd recognize that face anywhere now." "Who was it?" "Gus Montrose." Joe whistled. "I wonder what he's doing skulking along here at this time of night. I have an idea that we'll find out before long. Do you think he has anything to do with the car thefts?" "Shouldn't be surprised. He seems a rather suspicious sort of character." They sped past the dark figure, who went on, head down, hands thrust deep in his coat pockets. "I'd like to know more about that chap," mused Frank. "I'll bet he's not hanging around here for any good reason." End of chapter 13.